Have you ever wondered what all goes into a themed horror photo shoot? No? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. This week on Eric and Horror Stories, I take you behind the scenes and into the creative process of one of my favorite shoots, Nightmare on the Water. And if you ask nicely, I'll bring along my usual craziness. What is up, YouTube? Come on, party people. Wave your hands in the air. Come on, party people. Wave them like you don't care. Come on, party people. I don't know my left from my right. Hey, what is up? Eric with Eric and Horror Stories. Welcome to another installment of my fine corner of YouTube. This week, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite photography shoots I have done. For those of you who don't know, or have not paid attention, or do not care, as a side gig, I do dark, horror, scary kind of photography. Normally, I get to travel around the country during the year, selling it at conventions, meeting some fine folks and all that. I got to do that exactly one time this year before COVID shut everything down for the whole year. So definitely have missed doing that. I have a lot of shows booked for next year. I am hoping that I get to do those. Fingers crossed. Anyway, I still am selling stuff on my website right here. EricRichardsonPhotography.com. Get yourself something. Get a loved one something. Get a hated one something. Hell, I don't care. But no, this isn't an advertisement for my photography. It just happens that I thought this was a fun story to tell. It's actually what saved me continuing doing photography. I'm not going to tell my whole life history doing this stuff. Don't worry. I'm not going to be like, when I was a wee lad, I picked up a camera, and I'll tell you the story from there until now, because I'm a famous, world-renowned photographer. Because one, that's not true. And two, I don't know if it's that interesting or not, telling it that way. Maybe I'll do that someday when I'm more comfortable for this. For now, though, I'm just going to tell the story of this one shoot, which let's get into. So, just a little brief history in a nutshell. Help, I'm in a nutshell. I did photography for quite a while, the dark, scary stuff, and really went nowhere with it. I wasn't necessarily trying to get anywhere with it for a while, but I had a real love-hate relationship with it. I'm like, I'm not any good at this. I'm okay at this. I like doing it, but I'm not any good at it. So I quit and restarted several times. I went to a couple conventions, horror conventions, as a fan, just to see celebrities and stuff. And I noticed all the vendor booths there. And I was like, I wonder if my stuff would sell at these things. It seems like the kind of thing these people would be interested in. So I decided to bite the bullet and try to vend at a couple conventions. And I tried horror conventions and tattoo conventions. My tattoo artist ran a couple of those, and I sucked at it. I mean, I did about as poor as somebody could do. I had a 3-day show where I sold nothing. It was literally one of the lowest points of my life. I don't want to talk about that one. But anyway, yeah, it was going bad. So I was doing probably my second or third attempt at my local tattoo show run by my tattoo artist, because it's easy to do a local show, and I was not doing well again. So I was like, well, this is it. I've got to either come up with a great idea, do really good at this show, or I've just got to really quit for good, because it's a waste of my money and it's just not fun anymore when you're getting your ass kicked trying to get somewhere with it. So yet again, I was doing horrible, and towards the end of the show they have what's called the Miss Chattanooga contest, where all these tattooed girls get up there and I was the best tattoo girl, So anyway, this girl named Andie was Miss Chattanooga that year, and she was walking by my booth after she'd won, and I approached her. I was like, hey, I don't know if you want to do something with me or not, but I do this dark, weird photography. I was curious if you'd be interested in doing something with me. And to my astonishment, she said yes. So I was like, oh, great. And now I have to come up with an idea. So I was like, I'll get back in touch with you. So I started thinking. I'd just come up with this idea for a Nightmare series, which was inspired by the Avenged Sevenfold song. It's your fucking nightmare. Maybe I should do singing instead of photography. Anyway, that gave me the idea. I'd like to do a series based on nightmares and just have it be kind of different than you would expect. So I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted it to be elemental to a degree, meaning it was like earth, wind, and fire. Let this groove get you to move. It's all right. Oh, what happened? I kind of blacked out there for a second. I think that was the wrong earth, wind, and fire. I meant like earth, wind, fire, water. I really wanted to do a water nightmare. So that's what I decided to do with Andie. I told her, let's meet out at this lake, such and such time, wear some stuff that can be in the water. And that was really probably all I gave in terms of instructions because I'm a shitty planner. But I thought about it and I thought, well, I want a bed represented in most of the nightmare shots. And it needs to be a really small bed for two reasons. One, you can't lug a California king bed around to shoots with you. I don't want a moving van every time I have to go do a shoot. But also, a small bed is a smaller sense of safety. You just have this little bitty safe zone in your bed where you're safe. So I have this toddler bed I found in the garage. It was my daughter's. I'm like, I'm going to use that. So I get the toddler bed. I have all these hands and things. These are like zombie lawn stakes I never used. They still have tape on them for what I did at the shoot. But I got all these severed limbs and stuff, just and a skeleton. And I'm like, I have this loose idea that I'm going to put the bed in some shallow water and have all this stuff coming up out of the water that's trying to get the person in the bed. So I take the bed to the lake. I find a good spot to set it up in the water. And it's like a beautiful day. It may have even been the 4th of July. I don't know. There's all kinds of people out there. I find a place that's not really populated or anything. I set up the bed. I stick all these hands in the water. I have stuff sticking out everywhere. And then it's all set up. Like the police drive by and they're like, I don't even want to know what that guy's doing. They keep driving. There's like families down the way a little bit. And they're all like, Jimmy, don't play down there. I don't know what's going on. But it was cool. There weren't like any issues or anything. So real quick, I'm going to show you a shot of my setup and a quick video I did that day for Facebook showing what the setup looked like. So let's look at that. Hey, what's up? Just chilling at the park today. Thought everybody should see how beautiful it is out here. So serene and nice. Like nothing bad ever happens in a place like this. Oh. It's shoot time. All right, so I was pretty pleased with that setup. I thought it looked pretty good. I wanted this series to be kind of scary, yet maybe slightly hokey. I told Andie I kind of want you to be a scream queen. There was this whole storyboard for this. It wasn't intended on being just one shot, although it ended up just really the one kind of spread out shot. I'm punching my lamp there. Ended up being the money shot, so to speak. But I had a whole series. I love every shot in it. And Andie just gets out there and she kills it. And just fantastic job. So I couldn't have been more pleased with what she was doing. Although when I looked at the back of the camera when I was done shooting, I was like, man, I don't know. This is just kind of hokey looking. I don't know if this is good or not. But I got home and I completely changed my mind. I'm going to show you real quick what one of the shots looks like just unedited. This is nice, bright, sunny. Still looks cool, but it's not necessarily that sinister. It's just kind of a little strange. And I'll show you a couple film shots I did, because I would shoot film sometimes alternating with my digital camera. And those look really cool. To me, those look like an old classic, Creature of the Black Lagoon era movie. I really like the way those look, but as a series, they didn't come out perfectly the way I wanted them to, so I used the digital versions the best. And I needed to use a different editing style than I normally do, because I didn't want it to just look straight up like I showed you. It's not enough of the look I wanted. So I started messing around with all kinds of stuff. I came up with this new way of editing, and now I'll show you the whole series here while I'm talking. So what we have is girl wakes up in her bed. She quickly realizes she's in a weird situation. She's in the water. All these hands are coming up. They're trying to get her. They gradually grab her and drag her down into the water, and she becomes one of them. Essentially, at the end, they win. They convert her into one of these weird, whatever they are, things in the water. And I love the whole series. It got an amazing reception. It really changed my attitude about doing photography. Got me a lot of love. It showed me a new way of editing, which I still use to this day. And I particularly love the series, although I really just retained the one shot. I call it the crucifixion shot, which was kind of an element that I wanted represented there. It was kind of she's being crucified on the bed thing. Wasn't meant to be religious, but I just saw that shot in my head. So that's my shot. I do have it in my portfolio at my conventions. It doesn't necessarily sell that well. None of the Nightmare series do. However, those are some of my favorite things I've done. I love the concepts. I love the ideas, and I love the way they work. And I love the way the people that modeled for me executed them. I think they're some of my favorite shots. So I've kind of gotten away from doing those. I don't necessarily do the Nightmare series a lot, although I do have some more ideas for them and plan on doing it in the future. Look forward to doing all that. Look forward to getting back to all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm glad you joined me today for this. I thought I'd kind of show you an interesting shoot with a set. It just kind of all came together last minute. My quick thought process on it, and just something that's near and dear to me because it kept me doing photography. It kept me interested in things. Probably changed my whole life, honestly, because one little thing changes a lot of other things. You know, the butterfly effect, and I'm going to do a video on the butterfly effect, the movie, later, because I have some surprising things to say about that movie. But anyway, I am all over the place right now. And speaking of all over the place, next week we're going to do an episode about a toy. A creepy little toy, a fun little toy, an Eric kind of toy. And you're just going to love it. No, it's not a sex toy. What the hell is wrong with you? Anyway, thank you for joining me on Eric and Horror Stories. We're rolling right along now. Several weeks in. We're going to keep the momentum right on going. So come back and join me next week for toys. Goodbye. One thing I neglected to mention in the recording of this episode is that I was also in the water for this entire shoot, because I needed to have a certain angle to shoot it at, which meant I had to be kind of slumped up under the water with my neck just barely sticking out and making sure I didn't get my camera wet, which was fun. Andie did a great job. I think I did a great job. If you're interested in buying this shot, it and many more are available at ericrichardsonphotography.com. Episode. Continuing the theme of doing something different each week. I would like very much to shoot. Did you get down? Did you get down? No respect.